welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We're happy to be here with you on Wake Up Call every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We appreciate your patience here this morning as we got this show set up for you. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful morning this morning, and we have our Friday trio of signature segments, which I'm always happy to bring you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and of course, we will get started with the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York, and then we will jump into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver is what the acronym stands for, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Chick-fil-A Cicero, led by one of my closest friends, and we met by working together. We were total strangers. I wanted to work with Chick-fil-A, so I met Jimmer Sikowski, and now all these years later, I consider him one of my best friends. We call each other brothers, and I love him dearly. And I love the fact that I get to work with him every day. So, with that being said, today's segment, very special for Lead, as always. And I'll let you know what that topic is as we get closer to it. Then we will honor the top dog of the week. Top dog of the week coming to you from K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, the only place that I would suggest you bring your dog for short-term care here in Central and Upstate New York. They are on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, so we'll announce the top dog of the week. And then I'm going to have a bonus, pun intended, Lazer Lounge with Tom Bonus. You know that every other Wednesday in my exclusive multimedia marketing partnership here on Wake Up Call with the Onondaga Community College Lazers, we feature them. So every other week, we have a conversation. Well, this week, we have had 3 special videos. We're about to have a 4th, under promise, over deliver. And so Tom Bonus, in this bonus Lazer Lounge, comes to you this morning. And Tom and I have known each other for many, many years. And so we'll have a great conversation coming up for you with the OCC men's soccer head coach. And I can't wait for that. So that'll be coming up here to round out this morning's show. Of course, we are with you up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So however you're connected with the show, we appreciate you for being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. So now, without further ado, it is time inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios to get to the annoying moment of the week. And this is where I have the opportunity to just have some fun with something that annoyed me this week. Now, there's some things that are annoying every week. And not because I'm a person who's easily annoyed, just because society has some consistency. And unfortunately, sometimes that consistency is annoying. So my annoying moment of the week for this week, there's a lot of different places where I can go. And I think one of the things is that there was a snake in my neighborhood. There was a snake. Now, it's not atypical that Central and Upstate New York gets a snake or two. But the last time that I heard of a snake in a neighborhood that I lived in, I was like 3 years old. There was a garden snake. And my grandfather, my mom's dad, Papa Cavino, the one who right off camera, I have his Navy hat from World War II. So, love you, Pop. Both my pops. And my adopted pop and Grandpa Bill. But my grandfather, my dad, my mom's dad, my Papa Cavino, he, I guess when I was a little kid, I vaguely remember this. Like, I just think about, they told me I was in a diaper. I think I was like shirtless. So, you know, like some American men that are over the age of 40. But I was... So I was shirtless and I had a diaper on and I was 3, and where it's normal to do that. And so I guess I was in the backyard, hanging out, doing my thing, living my life. and there was a snake that came up to me, and my mom said that it like slithered up to me and then literally got up and like looked me right in the eye. And she told me that my grandfather, her dad, my Papa Cavino, he took a plastic shovel, like not a metal shovel, not a shovel that you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that thing's sharp. He took a plastic shovel and hit the snake so hard he cut the snake in half, because my grandfather's very protective of me, like nothing's going to happen to me type of thing, that, they don't want to ever see me hurt in any way, shape, or form. Well, they definitely lived up to that. And to this day, with them being in heaven, I still feel like they protect me. I know that they do. I know that they guard me and guide me. And so, with God himself. So my grandfather, the story is that he hit this garter snake. I think it was called a garter snake, not a garden snake. But he hit this garter snake and with the plastic shovel and cut the thing in half. So it wasn't like, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to shoo it away. He's like, oh, you're going toward my grandson? Today is your final day. And I think that it's fitting that that's what happened with my grandfather, because, they talk about Satan being a snake and defeating Satan, right? And where was the snake with Adam and Eve? The snake was in the garden. And we had fruit in our garden too. We didn't have an apple tree. But I was in the garden, there was a snake, and my grandfather protected me. So you look at the story of Adam and Eve, and there's a snake, and God saying like, hey, stay away from these things. And when they don't, this thing came up. So my grandfather was my protector back then, my protector now, one that I will always trust to protect me. And that's kind of the backstory of the only time that I've really been around a snake in kind of not trying to be around. Not like when I've gone and, you go to a school and they have like a snake petting opportunity. So I'm around this snake, right, when I'm 3, and now all this time has gone by. And I'm driving in my neighborhood, and I see these people in the road. There's 3 people, and they're like, they got a stick. And I'm looking at the thing in the road, and I'm like, they're not poking a snake. And then I put my window down. I was like, is that a snake? And the guy goes, yeah, it is. And I was like, cool. Like, why are you around it? Like, I'm not for the hurting of animals. There's certain exceptions that I will make when it comes to what it is. If there are bees that are all up in my business, they gotta go. Okay, they gotta go. Bees like me. I don't know why. We'll get into that in a second. And then, but yeah, bees, spiders. There's a spider that's in my backyard, and I've left him alone. But I looked through my window of my basement, and I looked at the spider, and I'm like, oh, he got big. He got like, he's been eating very well big, and there's a certain big that you can't get to be around my home. It's a lot. Like, I feel like I can probably see, his mouth and his eye. I can't. So spiders, bees, snakes, those are okay. Scorpions, to like, I want them to live away from me. But if they want to come near me, then I think that that's okay to say, we're done with you. That's enough. And so the snake was just sitting in the road, and it was curled up, and they were just poking at it with a stick. So I'm thinking in my head, like, it was close enough to my home. I don't know what they did with the snake. I don't know if they killed the snake, if they picked the snake up, if they called somebody, if they walked away. So then the snake can just, because here's my thing. I don't want my dog going in the backyard, hanging out. Lily is little. I don't want this snake coming up to her, or else I'm going to be like my grandfather, and I'm going to take my shovel and cut that thing in half. So that's one of my annoying moments of the week, was that there was a snake in my neighborhood, because that's ridiculous. Maybe if you live in Arizona, that becomes a normal behavior. Like, oh, I wake up in the morning and I see a snake. But no, okay? It's not okay. And again, I'm all for even snakes, any living thing, to have its full and complete life. But do not be around my family at all. So you come around my dog, we got problems. And I'm happy I got to tell the story about my grandfather being such an awesome protector, both of my grandpas. So I love you both dearly, and I know you're always with me. My other annoying moment of the week that I have to share, because this is stupidly ridiculous and it has to do with the sports world, is who in their right mind wants Dabo Swinney to not have the job at Clemson? Like, this came up a few years ago that people were kind of like, oh, is Dabo done? You know, is he not that good, man? And it's like, he's had one losing season, and the loss was the last game of the season in the bowl game. They were 6-6, and then they lost. They went 6-7. So this is what Dabo has done since he's been in Clemson. And I know I've banged this drum home this week, but it's my annoying moment of the week, and I'll get into it. But I got to give you some substance, especially if you didn't hear me say this earlier in the week, which you should have. Where were you? But anyways, so in 2009, Dabo took over being the head coach of the Clemson Tigers. He was the wide receivers coach, and as he recalls the story, he said people didn't want him to be the coach. He said that this week, going into the game against Syracuse, people didn't want him to be the coach back then. You know, he talked about being laughed at when he said he was going to make something out of the program. So in 2009, he became the head coach officially, right, where he had a full season, because he coached 7 games in 2008, but this is him as the head coach. He goes 9-5 in 2009. Goes to the Music City Bowl in the postseason, wins it. 2010, 6-7. That's the year I was talking about. His second year as a head coach is the only time he's had a losing season, folks. And he went to the Meineke Car Care Bowl, and that was the 7th loss, was the last game of the season. In 2011, he went 10-4, went to the Orange Bowl, lost. 2012, 11-2, went to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and won. In 2013, 11-2, went to the Orange Bowl and won. In 2014, 10-3, went to the Russell Athletic Bowl and won. In 2015, won the Orange Bowl that was in the College Football Playoff semi, and then went to the College Football Playoff National Championship and lost. In 2016, 14-1 as well. Went to the Fiesta Bowl in the College Football Playoff semis, won it, and then won the first ever College Football Playoff National Championship for Clemson in 2016. In 2017, 12-2, went to the Sugar Bowl and lost. 2018, 15-0. Went to the Cotton Bowl, Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic in the semifinals of the College Football Playoff. Won it, then won another College Football Playoff National Championship. 2018, 14-1. Won the Fiesta Bowl in the College Football Playoff semi, then lost in the College Football Playoff National Championship. 2020, 10-2 in the COVID year. Went to the Sugar Bowl, lost. 2021, 10-3. Went to the Cheez-It Bowl and won. 2022, 11-3. Went to the Orange Bowl, lost. 2023, 9-4. Went to the Gator Bowl and won. 2014, last season, 10-4. Went to the College Football Playoff as an at-large team in the first ever 12-team playoff that has 7 at-large bids, and lost in the first round to Texas on the road because the higher seed gets to have a home game, and every single home team won in the inaugural 12-team playoff for the College Football Playoff. So that's where we're at, okay? That's insane. I mean, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 seasons that he had at least 10 wins. Some coaches haven't had 10 wins in a season. He goes 14-1 on 3 separate occasions and 15-0. The College Football Playoff is a little bit over a decade old. He's coached in 4 national championship games and won 50% of those games. Some teams have never been in the College Football Playoff, never been in the semifinal, never been in the first round, never been in the quarterfinal, never been in the national championship, let alone not win a national championship. They haven't even played in one. The team he's going up against, Syracuse, has never sniffed the College Football Playoff in any round of it. And this guy coached the Clemson Tigers to not only the national championship game, but in 4 out of 5 years from 2015-16 season to 2019-20 season, he not only made it to the national championship, he made it to the national championship 4 times in 5 years and won 2 of those 4. What are we talking about? So Dabo's not the only person defending himself. I'm going to defend him. And if people have a problem with it, I don't really care. Just like Dabo doesn't care. I love what Dabo said, though. He said, hey, if they don't want me here, if they want to get rid of me, if they don't like winning, that's fine. I'm 55. I'm not going to go out here and do something else. I got a lot of years in me. I'm just getting started. So, I mean, the clarity of what other coach in America in the FBS has this? Dan Mullen doesn't have this. Kalen DeBoer doesn't have this. You know, we're talking about FBS. Who has this history? Who's doing what he's doing? I mean, Kirby Smart's been all right, right? He's been all right. But let's look at Kirby Smart. And he hasn't been the head coach as long. Not even nearly as long. So Kirby Smart, 2016, he became the head coach of Georgia. He went 8-5, won the Liberty Bowl. 2017, 13-2, went to the college football playoff, won the Rose Bowl semi, lost to the national championship. 2018, 11-3, lost in the Sugar Bowl. 2019, 12-2, won in the Sugar Bowl. 2020, in the COVID year, 8-2, won in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. I was at that game. It was the first event I went to in public since all that COVID man-made garbage. 2021, 14-1, college football playoff semis, won the Orange Bowl, won the national championship. 2022, 15-0, won the Peach Bowl in the college football playoff semi, won the national championship. 2023, won the Orange Bowl. 2024, lost in the Sugar Bowl. And in 2023, 13-1. 2024, 11-3. And obviously was in the college football playoff. So he has coached his team to 4 college football playoffs. He's made it to 3 national championship games. Dabo's made it to 4. Dabo did it in a shorter amount of time. In the sense, I'm not saying like Kirby did it his second year. He went to the college football playoff national championship in his second year as head coach. I'm saying in a smaller window. Like Dabo had 4 and 5 years. And so this is a little, just like a skosh above that, where Kirby has 3 and 6 years. Kirby's been to 3 national championship games. He's won 2. Right? So he's got a better winning percentage. Dabo's is 50%, and Kirby's is 67%, but Dabo's been to 1 more. So, I mean, Kirby's out there doing his thing. And why I brought up Kirby Smart is I'm talking about, is there another coach out there that somebody would say right now is the best coach in college football if it's not Dabo? So maybe Kirby Smart. It's not Brian Kelly. It's not Marcus Freeman. It's not James Franklin. Right? There's a lot of good coaches out there, and I just named you some of them, but it's not them. It's not Dan Lanning. It's Dabo Swinney, Kirby Smart, and everybody else. Like, that's where we're at. So I don't even know why we're having a conversation. But again, this is the media being bored. They need something to witch about. And I think I might have messed up that letter, but you know what I mean. So that's all this is. This is the media creating nonsense so that people will lose their minds, so that we'll talk. I mean, look, we're talking about it here this morning, but I'm not talking about it to accentuate what the media is saying. I'm talking about how stupid it is. Dabo Swinney has had 1 losing season his entire time being a head coach at Clemson. And that was 6-7. Like I said, dude is consistently bringing to you 10 or more wins, has gone 14-1 3 times, has gone 15-0, has won 2 national championships, has been in 4. Like, there, you can't say enough about, he's been to a bowl game every year that he's been a coach. Never missed a bowl season. Ever. And when they were 10-3 in 2021, everybody wanted his head. you know how many schools will I mean, think about it. Syracuse has been 10-3 last year and in 2018. And before that, it was forever ago. I mean, you look at decades in between Syracuse being a double-digit winning team in football. Dabo did it every year from 2011 to 2022. Then in 2023 went 9-4, then went back to 10 wins again. There's nobody who I look at this and I say to myself, like, that's an active coach right now. There's no one with this resume. There's nobody. Like I said, Kirby Smart has done some good things in less time, but there's nobody with the resume of Dabo Swinney. Nobody. So why is it the annoying moment of the week? Because these are the moments where the media shows you that they've run out of material. So now they make stuff up. Dabo, I'm on your side. If Clemson ever was stupid enough to let you go, there would be over 100 schools saying, come here. The NFL would probably say, you know, come here and be a coordinator, do this, do that. I don't know if he'd want to be a head coach in the NFL. I can't speak for Dabo. Because the NFL is a different bird, right? And it seems like Dabo likes building young men, so he probably would be hanging out inside of the NFL, or college football, and not the NFL. But I can't speak for him. Dabo's a man of God. He always brings it back to God. He's been selfless. He has fun. He cares about his kids. And you can tell that he's stern when he needs to be. I have all the respect in the world for Dabo. I've gotten to speak with him many times over the years. We just had a one-on-one conversation a couple months ago. There's a lot to be said about who Dabo is, and who he is not is a coach that would ever be on the chopping block. I can't imagine a day where somebody would say, hey, Dabo, I think you've had enough here. But if someone's stupid enough to do that, then like he said, I'll go somewhere else and coach. So it's an annoying moment of the week, because if we're talking about getting rid of Dabo, then you need to get rid of every coach in the FBS. And that's the real. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. This has been the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. Open 7 days a week and every single season. No matter the weather, the flavors stay the same. Head out to Carvel DeWitt today, and we'll be back right after this.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing. And so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing, an amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time, in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And Game Point Sports Complex is the place to go. I got an awesome series that we're doing every single month called Who's Got Next? And you will get a preview of the inaugural episode, which is with Brandon Trish. That's right. The winningest Syracuse player in the history of Syracuse Orange men's basketball will be joining me for the first edition of Who's Got Next, brought to you by Game Point Sports Complex. And if you want to get next, then reserve your time at gamepointsports-syr.com. Pickleball, volleyball, basketball, so many different things to do at Game Point Sports. So make sure you get in touch with them today, gamepointsports-syr.com. With that being said, we're going to jump into our second piece inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'? Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero. And of course, we are here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Lead, the acronym, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. As I said, presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero, gives us the opportunity to share with you this topic today. Hear the whisper in the wind. People say, man, I want to hear from God. Why isn't he yelling? Why isn't he making himself clear? Why can't I hear his voice? Why is he not being loud enough? If he wants me to know something, he should just tell me. People expect God to yell. Remember in the Bible? Is God going to come from this giant, loud bang, this big voice, this chariot of sounds? But sometimes if you listen really closely, people are looking for the giant sign. Sometimes it's quiet. I'm a firm believer that if you want to hear God, you got to be quiet. That's how we hear him. Because he is not necessarily going to scream something at you. I'm 39 years old. I can't tell you that God has ever been like... I mean, there's been moments. I can't say he's never... I don't want to say he screamed at me. I've heard the voice of God, but typically it's a whisper in my ear. And even when there was a shout when he wanted me to get away from someone, when someone was not good for me and he was telling me, like, I need you to get away from this person, the way that he said it was stern, but it wasn't a scream in my ear. Didn't break my eardrums. See, we have to listen for the whisper in the wind. People look for the burning bush. Right? They look for the burning bush. They look for the clear sign. Some people don't believe in God because they said, hey, God, I want money. And they put their hand out and no money fell in it. Isn't that crazy? Because money falls from clouds all the time, right? Stupid. But there's people that say, hey, if God exists, then I'm going to ask him for a wife and he's going to present her right now in this moment. I need money. I'm going to go to the bank and he's going to deposit money into my bank account. God doesn't work like that. Right? Now, you may ask God, say, hey, God, I'm struggling. Help me to make some money, to make enough so I could do what I need to do. And he will guide your steps to get you to a place, but you're not going to close your eyes and open your eyes and there's a bag of money. But you might close your eyes and think about an idea, and that idea might lead to an action, and that action might lead to planning out more pieces that come beyond it. So you have an idea, and then you act on that idea, and then it sets off a course of different things that you do to lead you to a place where then you look at God and you open up your eyes and you say, I didn't know how I was going to get here, but I got here, God, and thank you, because now I have the money that I need. I am where I'm supposed to be. I can't tell you how many times God has come through for me. He always does. He always comes through for me. Always. I just caution people when they say, if God loves me, then he'll do X. He'll do Y. If God actually loves me, he's going to do this like this and this like that. And we need to be very careful about telling God what to do. He does not work for us. We are not his boss. And I think some people talk to God like that. Hey, God, give me my wife, give me my husband, give me that job, give me that car, give me that money right now. Do it, or I don't believe. If you are giving God ultimatums, I don't think you're going to get the answer that you want. Now, do I know everything that God's doing? No. Sometimes I feel like I have no idea when it comes to certain things in my life what he's doing. At all. I look up at him sometimes and I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do with this. But I always hear God's voice. And people say you can't hear God's voice. God doesn't speak to you. And I always find it funny when people say that. When somebody goes up to somebody else's life experiences and tell them that those things didn't happen. God doesn't talk to you. God doesn't get involved. Yeah, people tell me that. God doesn't get involved, Dan. God did not come into your life, whisper in your ear, tell you what to do. Well, he did. I can still remember it to this day. I can remember what it felt like. I can draw you a picture of that entire moment and what he said. And it's happened time and time again where I have felt God's hand. I have felt God push me away from something that was not good. I have heard God, seen God. There's so many things that I have experienced when it comes to the Almighty God. So when I tell you to hear the whisper in the wind, it's me saying, yeah, sometimes God will come loudly into your life. You'll just know. But but loudly within you, within your heart, within your mind, within your ears of you internally. I don't think God's going to be like, hey, and you're just going to, and everyone's going to hear it. And he's going to be like, no, not you. No, move. No, behind that guy. No. Yeah, you. Yeah, him. I got to talk to him. That's not, and I'm not going to speak for God. You know what? If God wanted to do that someday, but I don't think that that's God. Not the way that I've experienced him. But if you ask me, did God speak to you? Yes. Has God made clear with you some things? Yes. But it comes to me. Nobody else hears it. It's just me and him. That's why I call it the whisper in the wind. You have to listen for the whisper in the wind. Because life is going to have its trials and tribulations. Life is going to have its tough moments. Life is going to have those, how did I get here? Why did I get here? What am I doing here? Life is going to have those, I don't understand. Those I don't understand moments are going to come. It's just real. It's reality. Not everything in life is going to be easy. That's just the truth. Growing up as a kid, I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to hear that. I wanted to hear it gets easier. It's not that hard. When I said to my mom, like, hey, I've been through, 3 breakups. So the next one's got to be the right one, right? Because I don't want to go through this anymore. I don't want to go through this pain. I don't want to go through getting to know somebody new and then they go away and it feels like a waste of time. So the next one's got to be the one. And then it wasn't. And then it wasn't. And then it wasn't. And then it wasn't. And then you get to hear, right? Or you move somewhere and you say, this has got to be the place. I love this place. When I moved down to Florida, I wasn't thinking like I'm coming back to New York. But I came back to New York. Not because I failed. I chose to come back. After I had a bunch of great and I love my experience in Florida. And Florida's the second home of my company and for me personally now. So I didn't lose anything. I got on to Florida all the time. It's like I never truly left there, but I'm also here. There's people that follow my shows, because we have a bunch of different shows, including my Disney show, Do Diz with Dan, that think that like I'm in Florida every day. But I got the best of both worlds. I came back here. I know well enough to not say to God, this is the house I'm going to live in for the rest of my life. This is the city I'm going to live in for the rest of my life. Like, I don't know what he's going to bring. All I know is that if you read the Bible and you go to church, if you go to church just to hear the readings, just to hear the first reading and the second reading and the gospel, you're consuming information that brings knowledge and wisdom, that can bring peace, that can bring love, that can bring understanding. You're not hurting yourself by going to church. I can promise you that. You're not hurting yourself by hearing good information in a world full of misinformation and hate. So, to me, having the opportunity to learn is never a bad thing. Getting to consume information that can help you. And if you've never picked the Bible up, I'm not somebody that's read it cover to cover. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that. I'm never going to lie to you. What I will tell you is I have opened up that Bible and had more moments where God was quite clearly saying to me, like, I needed you to look at this today. I needed you to see this today. You could open up to any page. And the funny thing in talking about, and I always connect lead with the annoying moment, and I never, almost never do I mean to do it. It just happens. And again, God, I open my Bible to a random page. I do this a lot. I have the Bible closed. I open it up and I look at what's on those pages to see, why I opened it to that page. If there's a message that I feel like God's trying to tell me, right? And I had a conversation, a one-on-one. You could see it on our YouTube channel or our Facebook at Wake Up Call DT for both. And I spoke with Dabo one-on-one. And he talked about a Bible passage that I had never heard before. Or if I did, I didn't remember it. And he was talking about the light, like your eye, like what you see, like what you bring into your life. That's like what it becomes. Like if you bring in light, if you bring in darkness, like what you see through your eye, like that mind's eye, like what you're taking in, what you're consuming. Like, are you a lamp? Are you bringing in goodness? I kid you not, folks. I had that conversation with him at the ACC kickoff this year, which was in July. Okay? It was not even 2 months ago to the time we're talking right now. I went home. I closed my Bible. I opened it to a different page. I looked in the bottom left corner. It's still open to this page. It was the literal passage that Dabo said to me. I have never read it in the Bible, never seen it in the Bible. Dabo had the conversation with me. I came home. I opened my Bible to a random page. It was the passage that he brought up in the interview that we just did less than 2 months ago. That's God being a whisper in the wind. He didn't say, go to this page. He didn't, there was no booming loud cry of do this, do this, do this. It was just, hey, pick up your Bible, open it up to a page, see how amazing I am. And I saw it. I saw it. So listen for that whisper in the wind. Listen for God conversing with you. Because it's not necessarily going to be a loud, thunderous clap. It may just be this. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard this. Volume. Clear. And when you get to know God and you pray and you really get close to Him, you can know the difference between His whispering voice and the whispering voice of imitation. Because there are two voices that will speak with you. One of them is Him. The other one is an imposter. And picking up your Bible, gaining knowledge, gaining wisdom, going to church, closing your eyes, and really taking the time to just be, to center yourself, to know who you are, you will know the difference between the voice that is there for you and the voice that is there to manipulate you. And there is a lot of manipulation. And by the way, the devil don't necessarily whisper. The devil's screaming right now in the world, yelling right in your face. Watch this, do this, go here. Talk about AI and algorithms and all this stuff. Someone controlling what you see and the version of what you see and the angle of what you see, it sounds a lot like the devil to me. Let me play on these strings that makes this person move. Let me puppeteer them here to where I want them. God lets you make your own decisions and will guide you. The devil leaves breadcrumbs making you think oh, look, if there's breadcrumbs, then this is the right decision to make. The devil's already created the domino effect to get to his end point that he wants you at. God will guide you. The devil will coerce you. God will lead you, but not make you. The devil will make you think it's your idea when it's actually his. So, not only do we have to listen for the whisper in the wind, but we have to be able to differentiate between the voice that guides and the voice that manipulates. We'll take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. This has been Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. Today's topic, hear the whisper in the wind. God, you're beautiful. We'll take a step aside. Head out to Chick-fil-A Cicero today and go see those wonderful, wonderful team members that I get to talk to every month in the series that we call The Light Between Us, spreading positivity all over this world. And, of course, being the exclusive partner here on Wake Up Call when it comes to this segment every Friday known as Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. We'll be back on Wake Up Call right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jim Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they're always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are open for sales and service Monday through Saturday. You can get a sneak peek of their inventory, buy and lease, and they have new and used vehicles on site at Great Lakes Honda City. And you can go to greatlakeshondacity.com's website to get that first look. So make sure you do that today and let them know the DT sent you. It is time for my top dog of the week, and I can't help myself. I am a big-time Big Brother fan. I love Big Brother. It is the only reality show that I watch. It's one of the only television shows that I watch. And I'm a big fan. I can't believe it was 6 years ago that I auditioned for it. And it was a unique audition experience. So I would definitely audition again now that I've gone through the experience. But I auditioned for Big Brother 21. 21's my favorite number. And Big Brother 27 here has been really interesting. There's been a lot of drama. There's been a lot of... I probably could have called this the annoying moment of the week because, Morgan is running Vinny like a little weasel. But which is sad. It's really sad because I think he's realizing it now, but it's kind of like too late. Well, I don't want to say it's too late. It's never too late. He's still in the house. But it's not too late. It's just, it was very frustrating to watch this past week because it's just been, it's not been great at all. And it's been very just kind of ridiculous how some people, it's been very hypocritical. If you know me, you know that hypocrisy, in my opinion, is the 8th deadly sin. Like if there's 7 deadly sins, I consider hypocrisy to be added on to that. And there's a lot of hypocrisy in the house on Big Brother right now. But my top dog of the week is the man that they've been trying to get rid of this man since like the second week of the show. Now the show is almost over. We'll crown a champion on September 28th. So you look at what they've tried to do to get this man out, and 9 days from now, we will have a champion, and he could be the champion. They put him on the block, he gets off the block. They put him on Blockbuster, he wins Blockbuster. Dude has just been out here doing his thing. So I got to give a shout out. And I've been team this guy for a long time. I just publicly put it out there. But people that have talked to me know where I stand. I am team Keanu all the way. Keanu is awesome. I've never been against him. I've watched his game. I've watched his conversations. And he has been the person that they want to get rid of. I know what it's like to feel how he has felt. He has been public enemy number 1 in the room. And you got to not call yourself what other people call you. You just got to kind of understand, like, all right, this is how they feel. I know who I am. I know what I'm about. I know what I'm going to do. Let me control what I can control. No matter what they have done to this man, he has responded. He has protected himself. He has saved himself. Most recently, he was sitting next to somebody that the head of household just wanted to get rid of more than him. And so he was able to stay. But typically he's taken himself off the block, either in the power of the veto or in the Blockbuster. So I got to say my top dog of the week is Keanu. I am so proud of him, so happy for him. And like I said, I've been watching Big Brother for years. I've been watching Keanu throughout this entire season. He said flat out, I probably wouldn't have said this, but I get it because you kind of understand where you are. Like you said, when people treat you a certain way. And he said, hey, I'm in this house and I'm going to be here and I'm going to pick off all of you one by one. And he said that so early that people were like, oh, okay, like then why would I align with you, right? Why would I be on a team with you? Why would I work with you? Because you just called us all out equally. But he's being real. He's saying what nobody else had the balls to say, which is, I know that there's only one champion every season. So, yeah, you can work with me or not work with me, but I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to live how I want to live, and I'm going to get after it. This man has been the ultimate competitor. He has controlled the controllable. This is what I love about Keanu. He has gone out and he has worked hard, and if people didn't want him around, he didn't care. If people wanted him around, it was like, if you want me or you don't want me, it's inconsequential. I'm going to come out here. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to work my hardest, and whether you like me or not, I am going to do what I need to do to get to where I need to get to. He is not doing it for other people. He is not being swayed by other people. He is making decisions on what he believes is the best thing for him, and he's getting after it. And I absolutely love it. I love it, and I appreciate it. So, Keanu, I can go to a lot of different places for my top dog of the week, but I'm going to you, because I love watching you, I love your fight, and I love that you are showing the world, if you believe in yourself, you literally don't need anybody else. I always tell people it's me and God. If other people want to come and be a part of it, come be a part of it. But whether you get on the ship or get off the ship, if you never on the ship, if you jump ship, God and I are still steering it. So, God bless, no stress, do your best is what we always say here on the show. And Keanu, keep doing that. Keep staying, keep God focused, keep doing your best, and try to stress as little as possible if you stress at all, and just keep having fun. I am Team Keanu all the way. I know that I care about something and someone when I want to have a t-shirt made, and I want to hashtag Team Keanu, and I just want to bring that shirt out and show that off. So I'm happy for you, man. Keep fighting, keep having fun, and much respect, and God bless as always. So, Big Brother, Team Keanu, if you don't know, you better get to know Big Brother Season 27. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, it is now time for me to have my final piece of this week's broadcast, I should say, on the show. So we have one more piece to bring you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and he is in our queue. That is Mr. Tom Bonus. He'll be joining me in just a moment, and Tom is going to be on the phone for this edition of the Lazer Lounge. Tom is somebody that I've known for many, many years. He is a Hall of Fame caliber coach. He is a hardworking, dedicated, and determined coach. He's someone that I've had wonderful conversations with, have had the blessing of building a friendship with, and gotten to just spend time getting to know him, talking about life, talking about things that go well beyond soccer. He's always been in my corner. I've never known him not to be. So with that being said, a bonus, pun fully intended, Lazer Lounge coming to you this month. In our first month of working with OCC, we have promised you 2 videos, and now we have doubled that at least here and had many wonderful guests on, and Tom continues that quest to underpromise and overdeliver and put a spotlight on Onondaga Community College and your Lazers here in Central and Upstate New York, not just to our community, but to the world. So without further ado, the head coach of the Onondaga Community College men's soccer team for the Lazers, a friend of mine, and like I said, someone who has always been in my corner and I in his. It's always a great time to talk with him. Tom Bonus. Tom, how are we doing today?
Good. How are you, Dan?
Doing very well. So that's my intro, Tom. If you had to flip scripts with me and it was Wake Up Call with Tom Bonus, what the heck would you say?
Dan, I think you hit it right on the nose. I appreciate the kind words, and I think we've had a very good friendship from my time at Lemoyne to now that you're at OCC. So I'm excited to be working with you still.
Yeah, and to have that opportunity and to be able to do this, and it's funny, Tom, because I said to you when you and I were sitting there on campus on Ted Grant Field at Lemoyne, and we were there in the goal, and you were telling me like, hey, I'm retiring at this moment or stepping away or whatever you want to call it at the time when we were having that conversation of that chapter ending. I remember sitting there with you going like, yeah, you're going to coach again. Like, I know you're going to coach again. And so I have no surprise whatsoever.
It's in my blood.
Yeah. And that's the thing is what keeps it in for so many decades, right? We're talking over 2 decades of coaching the world of soccer. Why does this continue to be a place that you just love to show up, love to get out there, put the cones on the field, get the drills ready, get the soccer balls out there? Why get up in the morning and keep doing this soccer thing?
Well, I think, Dan, one thing is I really like to work with the student athletes, and I'm trying to make a difference in their lives like I did with, the 23 plus years I had at Lemoyne. Yeah. And with those kids and trying to make a difference with, wherever I'm at, this OCC soccer job was a good fit for me where I were in my life. And so, I'm excited to be here, and we're moving on.
Yeah, and you came in last season to OCC. So in the time that you've been there, being in this environment of junior college, of having 2 years with a student athlete, the interesting thing is when you were at Lemoyne and it was NCAA Division II, you're bringing in a student athlete, and more often than not, you're keeping those student athletes. But in the world of Division I that Lemoyne has transitioned into, we know that, they kind of are living a life that mirrors junior college. You might have a student athlete for a year, you might have them for 2. A lot of times you're not having them for all 4. So it is interesting that junior college was such a unique world when I was growing up, but now the NCAA kind of has to live in the world of the NJCAA. So what can you say to the fact that, you are at a 2-year institution, but the NCAA is kind of living in that world now too?
Well, I think, going from Division II to junior college, it's been a challenge, a good challenge. I've had to learn how to, to deal with, recruiting and how to deal with, players you really only have them for 2 years, and then they're off. And, I'm trying to, the one thing I'm really trying to help the student athletes with is when they, are done with their time at OCC is trying to help them move on somewhere with all my contacts and so forth. I'm hoping I can do that. So I'm not going to lie to you, Dan. It's been a challenge, but it's been a good challenge. Something that I'm figuring out. I was a junior college player, so I went through the junior college ranks, and so I know what the ins and outs of a junior college player was. That was 30 some years ago, but so it definitely junior college is a good place. I think OCC is a great place. I think they've got top-notch facilities, and I think their support for the student athlete is very good. There's a lot of resources for them.
Yeah, and you talk about the facilities, and obviously we were out there last night for the home opener for both men's and women's soccer, and so we got to see both teams return home, your team included, to Chuck Wilbur Field. That field, every time I come over to it, and you and I talked about this off the air, but I mean, the facilities at OCC are amazing. I've seen junior college facilities. I have seen NCAA D1, D2, D3. There's something about being set on the hill. You're in Syracuse, New York, but you're also like in your own nook. You're in your own area. You're in your own place. You're on this hill. And it's kind of like, it makes me think of Game of Thrones. Like you've claimed that area, and that's your home. And then there's all of these really awesome facilities at Onondaga Community College. What is it like for you to practice and play on that field? Because I was sitting there last night in the press box looking at it going, and I took a picture of it to promote, being out there last night. I was like, dang, I love that field so much, and I just feel like that field could work in any level of soccer or lacrosse or whatever is going to be played on that field.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that I think from a junior college standpoint, they're a step ahead of most schools when it comes to facilities and just being able to go out and know that you've got a quality field and with the lights make it convenient because, for example, with for us, with some of my staff, they work all day, so they can't make practice until we don't start practicing until 6 at night, which is perfect because they can get there and guys can practice later. Guys that are working during the day, whatever. So it really is convenient for the junior college setting.
Yeah, and for you, Tom, we've talked about these facilities and you being a junior college player coming up in your time as a student athlete as well. What else was it about OCC that attracted you to, like, hey, I'm in this community, I've been in this community for over 2 decades coaching. What was it about OCC that made you say, like, hey, this is the right fit for me, this is where I need to be, and this is where I want my next chapter to be in this book of my life? It's got to be at OCC. Why was it OCC?
I think there was a lot of different factors. When I met with Mike Borsch, the AD, about the position, he sold me on a lot of different factors. But I think that it was just, again, I go back to the challenge. I knew it was going to be a challenge for me, and it was going to be a good challenge. So, I'm still finding things out that we're working on. And one thing I'm finding out is the junior college level is good. There's some, top teams out there. So, we're, right now I think that this, this season, at times we played really good soccer and we're struggling to, close out games and to find the back of the net. That's been our biggest thing. But I think that that's kind of where I was. In my personal life, I wasn't about to move my family halfway across the country for another coaching job. My brother's here, my wife's family's here. So OCC, like I said before, was just a perfect fit for me.
Yeah, here with Tom Bonus this morning in a bonus, pun fully intended, Lazer Lounge here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Onondaga Community College Lazers. So, Tom, you mentioned your brother, Mr. Paul Bonus. I just sat with him and his team, and we just had our Liverpool boys soccer on-site, on-location special at Avicoli's right down the road from Liverpool High School. I asked him to tell me, and I was just talking about Big Brother before you came on, only reality show that I watch, and because there's skill to it, and so him and I were discussing things, and I said, okay, in rapid fire, I was like, between you and your brother, who would win in different competitions? So if it had to do with physicality, if it had to do with math, if it had to do with the mind and figuring out puzzles and whatnot, he sometimes gave you love and he sometimes picked himself. And he said, but I fully know that when you talk to Tom, Tom will only pick himself. So I want to get your thoughts.
You know what, Dad? That's kind of funny because he told me that you had this conversation with him. So I don't think that's true that I'll only pick myself. But I think that, there's some things that, he does, well, and some things I do well. The one thing that, we were obviously raised by, the same mother, and she's a big part, a huge part of where him and I are today. So, but I think that I think he's doing a good job, and trying to build up the Liverpool program. Obviously, I have a lot of a lot of pride there because I played for Liverpool, and so I know he's working hard with that program, and he's been a good a great father, and I think that I would give him a lot of kudos. He said I could survive on an island longer than he could. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Yeah.
So, like you said, you come from the same mom. Share with everybody your mom's first name.
Mary.
So, Miss Mary, what would you say are the best things that you have learned from your mom?
Well, I think a lot of what we learned from her was just being persistent, and and when you commit to something, committing to it and doing it with your full heart. But I think more than anything, she sacrificed a lot of things for me and Paulie, and that's kind of like why we're where we are today. Reason why we are where we are today.
So, in that very heartfelt moment that I appreciate very much so, if you and Paul were coaching against each other tonight, what could we expect if it was you versus Paul?
Probably a wrestling match at halftime.
I have to ask what you've learned. We talked about what you learned from your mom, Mary. What have you learned from your brother, Paul, in this time?
He's just, he's been, all along my time at Lemoyne, and, my time at OCC, and even my days prior to Lemoyne at Cuke, at Hobart. He's kind of always been a sounding board for me if, I've had, questions, about anything. He's, I think he's always been the level-headed one, where he makes me think twice about, the way I'm approaching something.
Yeah. So giving you that level-headedness and giving you the opportunity to kind of take a step back and take a look at things. Here with Tom Bonus on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You spoke about, this team early on this season for OCC men's soccer finding the back of the net. We know that you have had multiple ties, including last night, in a 4-4. We saw multiple penalty kicks in the game, and, for SUNY ESF as well as for OCC. And you said the team struggled to find the back of the net. But last night, finding the back of the net 4 times, what positives can you take away from a game that, obviously was back and forth and a seesaw and mirrored the women's game as you went down 0-1, then you tied 1-1, then you went up 2-1, then they tied 2-2, then you went up 3-2. So that mirrored the women's game right before, and then you got up to 4-2, but then the game eventually ends 4-4. What positives do you take away from that? I know you said you want to find the back of the net. Last night you did a bunch of times, so what do you take from that?
I think, and that's, and one of my assistant coaches said the same thing. Hey, you got to look at it. We scored 4 goals last night. And so, we did find the back of the net. We, as a team, we just need to be more confident and be able to close out these games. We should have, 3 wins. Instead, we got 3 ties, and I think it's just, for me, playing the complete game from start to finish. It's a good group. They work hard. They worked hard for me last night. I just think that we got to be better in seeing out a game.
And you talk about finishing. Does that come down to, obviously you have to have the physicality, you have to have the stamina, so you got to be able to run with them, and you have to be able to be physical with the team that you're facing. And, of course, you have to have good strategy. But how much of it, when it comes to finishing out a game, is mental, in your opinion?
I think there's a lot of mental side to it. I think finishing is just having confidence in yourself. You can, and we've been working a ton in training on finishing and being, our runs being better in the final third. So we're getting in the box. We're being more connected. I think. Listen, I don't have an issue or a problem with this team with their work rate or what they're trying to get across. I just think that we need to be better from start to finish in closing out games. And and last night with the finishing, there were a few chances that we could have put away and we didn't, and that was a difference in the game.
Yeah, and when you look at back of the game, somebody who I just saw show up on social media that saw that I was talking with you this morning and gave some positive to it is Andrew Eccles. Now, Eccles had back-to-back penalty kicks, and he made them both in the game to get you up to those 4 goals. Bring me into Eccles' play and what he's done for you. I know he's coming from Aberdeen, Scotland. I let some people know in the press box yesterday that there's also an Aberdeen, New Jersey. But I'd love to get your thoughts about what Eccles brings to the table and what he's done, most recently to outsmart, when we talk about the mental game, to outsmart the goalkeeper of SUNY ESF and to make both of his penalty kicks during the game.
I think that the one thing with Eccles, through the week, we changed his position to just be up front in a number 9, and he was a real positive for us last night. I thought he worked really hard, and he did the things that we asked him. He's got a lot of pace, a lot of speed. We said, listen, just, cause the other team's problems, and he did that. He was a pass. He actually won a penalty kick one time, and then so he on a side note of last night, I was really pleased with his performance. So hopefully that continues.
Yeah, and the first goal scored by Archie Burnett and then followed by Joe Kearsley. What can you say about Burnett and Kearsley and what they did offensively? Like you said, working to find the back of the net, they did that as well last night.
Well, I think Archie played, again, he was another bright spot last night. Thought he worked really hard. Thought he scored a great first goal. He's someone that we need to be successful this season. We need him to play at a high level, and he's playing at a good level right now. And I think that with Joe Kearsley, he's a second-year player, and he's playing left back. When he gets forward, he can shoot. He's got a good shot, and he proved that last night. Like I said, I think a lot of these guys are, giving me everything they have, and I'm excited for the rest of the season. But saying that, we got to put it together.
That coming here from Tom Bonus. Tom, before we get into rapid fire, I do want to make a note of your goalkeeper, Olivier Bienvenu. And Bienvenu in French is actually a welcoming. So what is it like I want to get your thoughts on your goalkeeper, but also your thoughts on the fact that you have a goalkeeper whose last name translates, and I know it doesn't have the E at the end of it, but bienvenue is like a welcoming, very positive thing. So what can you say to kind of the theme of your goalkeeper and how he's played so far?
I think Olivier is a good goalkeeper in certain facets of the game. I think he's a great shot stopper. I think I would just like to see him improve in a couple areas, like being able to control his box, control the game more. But Olivier was a third-team All-Region pick last year, and I think he at the top of his game can be a great goalkeeper and can really lead us from the back.
That come from Tom Bonus in this edition of the Lazer Lounge, a bonus edition of the Lazer Lounge, pun fully intended, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with the OCC Lasers men's soccer head coach inside the 2025 season. Tom, it's time for us to play rapid fire. And so the irony of getting to do this a few days ago with your brother and now have you for rapid fire, you get to ask me the first question. What do you have for me?
Who do you like to interview better, me or Paul?
Well, that's not fair. So, not fair. No, I will say that you both definitely have a different approach and a different personality to it, and so I think, obviously I've known you longer and spent more time, but I do enjoy getting to sit with you both and getting to hear what you have to say. I think that you're more of if there's a guy in the locker room that's got the towel and they're whipping someone with the towel, that's you, Tom. I think Paul's the one all right, that's enough. That's how I would describe it.
Yeah.
So
that was a tough first question, but you handled it well.
Thank you. My question back to you is, if I was your brother and Paul wasn't, and so I was Dan Bonus, what type of life would I have grown up with if I had Tom Bonus as my big brother?
Let me see. A lot of whenever I got the chance, I would, I would start some mischief with Paul. Whether that was a prank or wrestling or whatever. But I think it would be it would all be in a loving way, and but that got old after a while because Paul got big. So that's what you'd be in store for.
All right. Well, I am a good prankster, so I like that. What's your next question for me?
I think I've asked you this before. Who's your favorite NFL team?
Favorite NFL team, frustrating me right now. I think I might have to play offensive line for them, but the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm very.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we have talked about that before.
So my question back to you is, who is your favorite NFL team, and what are your biggest positives of them in the first couple weeks, and what's the thing that you're frustrated with?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
Positives. So far what I've seen out of Aaron Rodgers, I like.
Okay.
But it's early yet. To the frustration part for me is the defense. We've given up fucking. Oh, excuse me. You can cut that out, okay? We've given out. We've given up 30 points in both games. So that's not a normal of a Pittsburgh Steelers fan or a Pittsburgh Steelers player.
Yeah. So I can understand that. I think Aaron Rodgers is. Well, I said to people, I think he's going to have the season that are going to make Jets fans say, "Why us? Why did the wind move in the other direction when it came to Aaron Rodgers?"
I hope you're right. Yep.
No, I think they will. What's your final question for me?
How have you liked your time so far at OCC?
I love it. I've definitely had an awesome time with, listen, I've been to campus a bunch of times. I've known Mike Borsch since he got hired. I have, been around some programs that, there, some coaches that were there, and just seeing the development of different things over time, seeing the advancement of OCC, the different things that they've offered to students, and having housing on campus, and the YMCA coming in, and the SRC arena. And so I have loved and appreciated OCC over the years, and walking onto campus yesterday with a Lazer shirt on and being a part of it, it humbled me, and I just felt very grateful to God, honestly.
Nice.
So my question back to you, Tom, is if you took over my show tomorrow and it was Wake Up Call with Tom Bonus, who would be the 3 guests that you would have on the show? Could be living or dead.
Ooh, that's a good question. Alex Ferguson, who used to be the manager of Man United.
Okay.
Would be 1. 2, I would probably have Callum Donnelly, who is the men's coach at Lemoyne now. He played for me, was my assistant. I have a great relationship with him. And 3, I would have Mike Tomlin on from Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, so you got 2 people in the soccer world and 1 from your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
How do you think that conversation would go amongst the 3? Like where would you? I mean, would you want to? How would you I guess the question is, like, with Mike Tomlin, I think he's earned the right that he leaves when he wants to leave. And then, like you said, with Alex Ferguson and Man United, and then Callum Donnelly, who, was a player for you and an assistant for you and now the head coach at Lemoyne. How do you see that going in, like, the back and forth of the personalities in the room?
I think there would be I think I would really have to structure my questions because, Sir Alex, he is probably on the same pedestal as Mike Tomlin.
Okay.
That, he's deserved, all the credit he gets. And, I would just like to find out from, Callum, how's it going for him? That would be my biggest thing.
Yeah, I would definitely want to see that show. I'd also love to see Callum looking on both sides of him and being like, Mike Tomlin and Alex Ferguson is like, okay, all right, I got it, I can do it. So, with that being said, Tom,
the soccer guy, he would probably push his chair over more towards Sir Alex.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, listen, Mike Tomlin, I would not want to be on Mike Tomlin's bad side. That is a guy who I respect tremendously. And I just feel like he's one of the coaches that you could just look at me. I say that to Paul Pasqualoni. I'm like, Paul Pasqualoni, the first time I met him in person and interviewed him, when he looked at me, everything in my head wanted to say I was sorry, but I didn't do anything wrong. It was just the way he looks at you. I was like, I'm sorry. When I was 5 years old, I think I took a lollipop. But, Tom Bonus here, the Lazer Lounge, Onondaga Community College men's soccer head coach inside the 2025 season, a good friend of mine and someone I've known for many, many years. Tom, I appreciate you. I thank you for your time. I look forward to your team getting into this next piece and putting it all together. And, of course, I always look forward to talking with you soon.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate your time. Okay?
All right. Take care. Say hi to your family.
All right. I will. Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Yeah, coming from Tom Bonus here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Always good to talk with Tom. We'll be back after this. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. We want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. You can do American, you can do Asian, you can do
Italian, and you just have to find, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing. You go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point, because you get a little something different at each one. We understand how hard it is to, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on into the neighborhood spot, Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K-9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K-9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's the number 9, KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K-9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K-9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily?
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happened.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
You know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvel Light. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelange, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvel Light ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Make sure you make your way over to GG Cards and Breaks on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5 to be a big kid. Who doesn't want to do that, right? We all have characters that we love, and they have Disney, Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, One Piece, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! We also have teams and players that we love, right? Hockey, soccer, basketball, baseball, football. This brings you closer to that, closer to the ones that you love to watch, the ones that you love to see, the games that you love to play. GG Cards and Breaks is fanning that big kid spirit every single week, and I can't thank them enough for it. Josh and Anthony, they work tirelessly. Alex, Joel, everybody that's there. They bring it every week. I love being there. I love being around them. I love how hard they work. I love their dedication to the craft, and their entire business is centered around the fact that we all just really love to have the thrill of opening a pack of cards, a box of cards, and it builds a community. And that community has only gotten bigger and stronger over the years. And thanks to places like GG Cards and Breaks for being so unique, sports cards and trading cards are a part of our world because there's people that are working diligently every single week to make sure that we have a place to go in this crazy world that we live in, that we have a place that is consistent with us, a place that consistently is fun, exciting, thrilling, and helps us remember what it was like to be a kid and go find a pack of cards somewhere and sit down and open them up, and our eyes light up when our favorite player comes out of that pack. It's like Christmas morning every single week. GG Cards and Breaks. Go over there and let them know that you got sent to them by DT on Wake Up Call. And, of course, many thanks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, to everybody that has been over to GG Cards and Breaks and trusted our word here on the show. Many thanks to Chick-fil-A DeWitt on Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard, right on the corner there. They built a light on Bridge Street to just make sure that the traffic got through to Chick-fil-A DeWitt, because y'all love your Chick-fil-A, and now you got one right on Erie Boulevard. Erie Boulevard, in my opinion, was hurting for places that I wanted to go to. You know, I'm looking through my lens, saying to myself as I'm driving up and down Erie Boulevard, I'm like, man, where do I want to go? And I would just pass a bunch of places, drive down, turn around, drive back, and I'm like, I don't really have anywhere that I really want to go. And I love the development area where Chick-fil-A DeWitt is. And I love that they're there. They have a double drive-through, giant brick building. You can't miss it. And Megan Sorber, for her to have the opportunity to do this, people don't understand how difficult it is to become an owner-operator with the Chick-fil-A company. There's so much that goes into it, and there's a very select percentage of people that get to operate a Chick-fil-A. So many thanks to Chick-fil-A for coming to Erie Boulevard, and many thanks to Megan Sorber for all the hard work, dedication, and determination that she put in and her family put in to make sure that she would have this opportunity to bring this Chick-fil-A to a community that's surrounded by high schools, surrounded by colleges and universities, and that has a bunch of those team members at Chick-fil-A DeWitt that are going to school and experiencing what it's like to work for such a great company. So many shout outs to Chick-fil-A DeWitt that is so much more than a chicken sandwich.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, but it's definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily?
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. I cannot thank you enough for being a part of the show every week. I can't even believe it. I've been doing this for as many years as is my favorite number. 21 plus years of broadcasting. 13 plus years of owning my own business. And 21 is my favorite number. 13 is my Papa Cavino's favorite number, and they show up together all the time, like they are right now. Like, think about that. When I set out on this adventure of being a broadcaster, sportscaster, how could I have set this up where my 13 years of owning my own business and 21 years of broadcasting would align in the same time period? It's God. 13 and 21 have followed me, and it's God's way of showing me, like, hey, I'm here. I got you. I hear you. I'm leading you. I'm guiding you. You're not alone. It's going to be okay. We're going to figure this out. We're going to do this together. I've already figured it out. Trust me. Trust me. You know, God says in the Bible over and over again, trust me. Trust me. Trust me. You know, when people say, why is God so mean in the Old Testament? I don't want to believe that God could be so mean. I thought the same thing. I was like, I don't want to picture God that way. And then I took a Bible study class, and I've been in Bible study a bunch of different times. I helped lead Bible study in college as part of campus ministry at Marywood University, a Catholic school. And when I took my most recent Bible study, a woman said to me that, was old enough to be my grandma. She said, I don't want to believe that God was so mean. Like, I don't want to believe in this angry version of God. And you know what I said to her? Because it finally clicked. I said, he wasn't mean. He said, trust me, 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 trust me. He said all throughout the Bible, all throughout the Old Testament, he says, trust me. And people didn't. And eventually, you could be a parent that never wants to reprimand your child, never wants to yell at your child, doesn't want to put your child in timeout and this and that, whatever. But God got to a point, in my opinion, where he was like, that's enough. Like, I have to do something because I've asked you to trust me a million times and you haven't listened to me. So I have to have a repercussion to your actions and your words so that you know that I am here and that I mean business and that I'm not just making a suggestion, but I'm really trying to lead you in the right direction. I don't think God was a mean God or God is a mean God. I think God was a God that got frustrated with the fact that humanity wasn't listening. So it's not God that was mean, it was humanity that was not loyal, structured. I don't think we're looking at an angry God in the Old Testament. I think we're looking at a God that is looking at his creation saying, I've given you everything. All you have to do is trust me. And they wouldn't do it. They made a choice. And choices have repercussions. So it's not, hey, everybody's having a good time following God, doing what they're supposed to do, and then God's like, hey, locusts and famine and all this. No. It was God saying, in my opinion, and I could be wrong because I'm not him, but what I learned from reading and seeing a different light is God wasn't the mean one. We, as humanity, were constantly disappointing God. And he asked us to have faith, to trust in him, and we didn't. So he reacted to us, right? Can't gaslight God, right? You can't say, God, I'm mad at you for your reaction to me being a pain in the butt. It's you being a pain in the butt that caused the reaction. So it's not God that was mean and evil. It was humanity that was letting God down repeatedly. It was humanity that was not being loyal, trusting, and faithful. God is not the problem. It's having the faith that's the problem. And you got to have it. And faith is easy to have when everything's going good. It's hard to have when things are not perceived to go the way you want them to go. That's when faith gets challenged. But you don't know if you have faith unless you get challenged. That's the thing. Nobody wants to go through tough times, but nobody knows who they are unless we go through them. We are who we are and see who we really are by how we react to it. So God is very involved in my life. God is a part of everything that I do. And I don't care if people like that or not, because I'm not here to please you. I'm here to please him. I'm here to come home. They say that there's a highway to hell and a stairway to heaven because it's anticipating traffic patterns, right? Highways are big. Stairways are more narrow. And I want the opposite. I want a highway to heaven, right? I want people, I want everybody getting home. So how you treat people matters. What you say and do matters. You might only have one interaction with somebody. We live our lives where we can fight with someone and say mean things and go to bed and be like, we're going to be here tomorrow. It's fine. We can go back on our word and treat somebody as subpar, but we never want somebody to do that to us, right? We tell someone we're going to call them when we don't call them. Maybe something came up, but the next day it's not that person's problem to chase you down. You said you would call them that day. You didn't, and now it's the day later. That person doesn't need to keep chasing and chasing and chasing you. It's your choice now if you're going to live up to your word or if you're not. I've lived a life where it's like, I've had to be everything, right? If I say I'm going to call you, I'm going to call you. If you say you're going to call me, then I call you. You know, in friendships, in romantic relationships, in family relationships, I had to do everything. In certain relationships, I had to be both people. And when you realize that you're only supposed to be one of the two people in the equation, you start to realize the people that you should be spending your time with and the people that you should just let be, because people do what they want to do. And I call that out. I said it to somebody this week. I was supposed to have a phone call with someone this week, and they were like, oh man, I should have done it this and that. And I'm like, well, you could do it right now. And they're making excuses. And I said, you know what? On the real, people do what they want to do. You know? And some people would be like, I can't believe you said that to somebody. Like, you would actually verbalize. Like, I can understand you calling your best friend after you text this person and you don't say it to them, but then you go tell somebody. I'm like, nah, everybody does that. Everybody's like, oh, I wish I said this, but I'm going to say it to. No, it doesn't change anything. I would rather call somebody out and say, you said you were going to do this, you didn't do it. And they're like, oh man, you know, there was a bird that fell out of the sky, and then, you know, I saw a turtle on the ground, and then like I like high C fruit punch. Okay, that makes no, you know what I mean? It's like everybody's got an excuse that makes no sense, or an excuse that makes sense, or whatever it may be. But the reality of it all is people do what they want to do. And I flat out said that to that person. I said, people do what they want to do. So if I'm not hearing from you, like if you're not calling me, but you're willing to just text and all this stuff, I don't hang around people like that. This is how I live my life. I want to see you in person. If I can't see you in person, I'll call you. If you're not available or you're working, I'll text you. Texting is my third option. It's not my first, and it's not my second. So I'm a firm believer in that. It's a hard truth, but it's the real truth. And you actually live with a lot less pain and a lot less worry, and you don't live in the world of maybe when you realize that people do what they want to do and they say what they want to say. So if you want them to do something they're not doing, they don't want to do it. And if you're wondering why somebody's not saying something you want them to say, because they don't want to say it. And that would help in a lot of business relationships, a lot of friendships, a lot of family issues, a lot of romantic stuff. If you just realize that people do what they want to do and say what they want to say. I'm the type of person, I feel like everybody should be this way, in my opinion, because why wouldn't you be? But I'm the type of person where if you want to be around me, let me know. If you want to talk to me, call me. If you want to get in touch with me, get in touch with me. If you want my time and you want to spend time, let me know. It's that simple. Because I'll decide if I want to or not. But if you don't let me know, then I don't know. I'm not in the guessing game of life. I'm not doing that with people. If I'm sitting here wondering, like, where are you at? No. If I'm constantly trying to figure you out, then I'm just going to give myself the opportunity to not do that, right? If I want to do a puzzle, I'll buy one. That's the real, right? I'm not trying to put together your pieces of life or understand who you are and what you are and how to talk to you and how to do this, that, and whatever. I am who I am. I know that I approach people with love and appreciation and respect and empathy and understanding. I don't even know if I want to call it empathy. Like, I care about everybody, right? Like, I don't even know if empathy is my word, but I care about people. I value people. I give everybody a chance. See, what people don't understand is if you were in my life and then you're not, that was because you did something. Or you said something. You know, like if you're here and then you're not. Now, I've made mistakes, right? But I'm saying if I make the decision to step away, it's not because like I just don't care about people. In a perfect world, I would have relationships with everybody. We'd all be friends. We'd all be cool. We'd all be comfortable. But the people that I reached an olive branch out to that broke the branch and spit on it and said, get out my face, that's your choice, right? It's never going to be that I don't extend the olive branch. It's who spits on it and who's like, thanks, Dan. Yeah, let's go do this thing, right? Because why wouldn't you want to be connected with people and have good relationships with everybody? And I was always that way. You know, in school, if there's 27 kids in my class, I wanted to have 27 friends. Not to be popular, but because I wanted to know everybody, be connected to people, learn about them. Everybody's different, right? Why would I want these people but not these people? So, you know, I think the thing to take out of this week is to keep God first, because God is consistent. Like we treat people like they're supposed to be like God, right? Like, why don't they do everything I want? Like, why aren't they this? Why? Like, people are going to let you down. Always. The people that you love the most sometimes are going to let you down. They're going to be late. They're going to forget to do this. They're going to say something stupid. Like, people let you down. No one's got a perfect friendship, romantic relationship, family relationship, like everybody, business. Everyone has moments where you're like, man, I wish they did this. I wish they said this. I wish this didn't happen. You know? But God is perfect. That's why God's my compass, because God is always pointing in the right direction. People are going to point all over the place, but God's always going to point in the right direction. So what do I take out of this week? Keep God first. Focus on what you can control, and understand that people do and say what they want to do and say. So if they're not doing it and they're not saying it, it's because they don't want to. And you need not waste your time trying to get people to say and do things that they do not want to say and do. That's the real. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, here with you every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and of course on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. We are worldwide. You can hang out with us on any one of these outlets, and we appreciate y'all that do. Once we go live, we hop into the archive. I'll be adding some to the archives. Just added the fantasy football advice for week 3 of the NFL, the 2025-26 season, to all of these channels. So you can go and check us out there and listen and watch on YouTube. Go to Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube, as well as others. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you don't miss out again, and so you don't have to search us every single time. We'll be there in your favorites, or you're subscribed. Many thanks to our incredible team of Central and Upstate New York. Please go and support them. I put my money where my mouth is. Everyone you see on the screen, I have bought from them, been around them, spent time with them, connected with them, toured their facilities, seen what they do, how they do it. I don't just talk about these wonderful companies. I care about them. I care about the people within these companies. And I wouldn't tell you to go somewhere that I wouldn't go. And that's the real. Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Myers Creek in Cazenovia, out in the country. They have the best of both worlds. They have out in God's natural landscape on 33 Rippleton Road in Cazenovia, and then they have literally right there in the Syracuse Inner Harbor, which is becoming a beautiful place over the years. That was nothing. They turned Syracuse Inner Harbor into something. Now they're building the aquarium right by Myers Creek, and we are there for Syracuse football home game in what we call Wake Up Call Game Days. Isaac Elford and myself will be there on Saturday, September 27th. Post-game, after the Syracuse-Duke sellout crowd in the Dome, we need y'all to come over to Myers Creek in the Syracuse Inner Harbor to talk about the game after the game on Saturday, September 27th. Approximately, our post-game will be at 6 p.m. Eastern Time following noon kickoff. Chick-fil-A Cicero, Pizza Man, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world. K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A DeWitt, Mother's Cupboard, K-9 Campground Dog Boarding, Brian's Landing, Game Point Sports Complex. I was just there yesterday, and I cannot wait to show you the segment that we're going to be doing with Game Point Sports. And that inaugural episode of Who's Got Next will feature Syracuse great Brandon Trish. Can't wait to show that to you. I got a little sneak peek of it. I think it's really cool. Something that we've never done before. So I'm really looking forward to it. On Wake Up Call, it's all about being unique, innovative, original, and this definitely is. Can't wait to share it with you. Game Point Sports, head out there to 211 South Center Street in East Syracuse to book your time. You can go to gamepointsports-syr.com. You can have individual time, small group time. If you got an event going on, the great thing about it is Jim Dispenza, who created Game Point Sports Complex, is the person that's scheduling the time. So the person that is bringing you in, the person that you're interacting with, is the owner. So make sure you go to gamepointsports-syr.com. You can't just walk into the facility. This is a facility that has a lot of different things going on: pickleball, volleyball, basketball, indoor hockey, a lot of great things going on. So make sure you go to gamepointsports-syr.com. Many thanks to Avocoles. And of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing, Pizza Man as well. And we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. You'll find the Bobcat Buzz every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Make sure you check out student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining me. And you can find it all by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, find the BSC Syracuse playlist. And of course, you will find them on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bearcats every single Tuesday during Bearcat time at 10 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide. Student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining the show. All of our content's on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. Find our Binghamton playlist. They're also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. The Onondaga Community College Lasers are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find OCC every other Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide. So they were with us this Wednesday. The next time they'll be with us live is going to be on Wednesday, October 1st to start off October at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Student athletes, coaches, and administration joining the show. We have already underpromised and over-delivered on all of our Lazer Lounge specials. You can find them by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. Find our OCC playlist. You'll also find the Lasers on wakeupcalldt.com and underneath the exclusive partners tab, as well as on the homepage. With that being said, for more information, go to onondagalazers.com and go Lasers. I want to thank you for being a part of the show today. I want to thank Tom Bonus. I want to thank Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week. Chick-fil-A Cicero for lead. Of course, K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare for the top dog of the week, which is Keanu in Big Brother 27. And as always, God bless, no stress, do your best. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and know that God is always on your side.